right, welcome back to Morning Nuke. We had a really exciting weekend of football, a lot of upsets, lots of crazy games. We all did terrible in our predictions. At least I did.
Indeed.
Yeah, it
Uh,
was horrible.
so we're going to start off with our top games of the weekend. I'll go first for college football. My top games were Utah, Texas Tech, Baylor versus Arizona State, and Indiana versus Illinois. So these were my top
Huh.
games. What I thought about each one of them, just going through Utah versus Texas Tech, I thought was going to be crazy offensive shootout. They were both, you know, in previous games, just making insane explosive plays downfield, especially Texas Tech. Um, but it ended up being a defensive battle, just grinding it out. Lots of three and outs, lots of turnovers. Um, if you were looking for a pretty game and you wanted to see, two great teams going at it, don't watch this because it was messy, messy football. Uh, so many turnovers by both teams. Uh, let me see. Yeah, total of four
Four two.
turnovers for Utah. Two fumbles lost, two interceptions.
That's
Texas
disgusting.
Tech had two interceptions as well. So just terrible playing on both parts. Um, in this kind of game, it wasn't which team was better. It ended up being which team was less bad. And in the
How
end,
low your
Utah.
floor,
What?
how low your
Yeah,
floor is, right?
it's not how high your ceiling is, it's how low your floor is. And both
Breach.
these teams' floors are in the ground, 6 feet under. So, Texas Tech, all credit to the defense. They played great. Their front four is insane. Lots of picks, lots of making plays on the ball. But in the end, Utah beat themselves. Utah's defense played great. Their offense couldn't capitalize off what their defense gave them. So Utah beat themselves. Devin Dampier, the Utah's quarterback, had a terrible game. Uh, he's basically Arch Manning of the Big 12. He had
Classic.
162 yards passing, 25 completions, for 38 attempts. I think that's like a 65% completion percentage, zero passing touchdowns. They had just over 100 yards rushing, 30 attempts, 3.3 yards per rush with one rushing touchdown. Texas Tech carried the game 34-10. And this was in the second half. Texas Tech's quarterback got a concussion, so that's all with their backup. Thoughts? Am I muted?
No, I think I think like this week was the week of like backup quarterbacks because I mean this is in the NFL, but you had Marcus Mariota, you had Carson Wentz, you had like those guys. So I think this week in in college and in pro was really focused on the backup quarterbacks, and it really shows like how like backup quarterbacks aren't like super important, but once your main guy like once you're like main guy, um, I think it's just super important to have somebody there that can just uh I mean not even like be super good, but just like not be horrible, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, we also talked about how like NFL, college, like everyone's getting injured right now. So it's like so many of the backups are coming up and being important finally, right? So it's just like actually insane because we're seeing how some of these people should not be in the NFL, should not be playing college, you know? But then you're also seeing ones that it's like, oh, this is low-key crazy, you know? So
yeah. All right, moving on from that dumpster fire. Baylor versus Arizona State. This game I thought would be another pretty high scoring game, offensive shootout. It ended up being another defensive battle. Um, Lots of turnovers again. Interceptions. Arizona State's DBs making plays in the ball. Great interceptions. setting up their offense for success. The thing that I noticed the most was Baylor's defense was playing, lights out, lots of fourth down stops, lots of goal line holds, and their offense couldn't capitalize off that, and the defense was right back on the field. And I think it's so important in a lot of these games. There should be zero room for error, and then you make an error, and then your defense goes out and plays great, and then you make another error, and it's just errors across the board. And now it's just the whole game is just a giant error. Um, and I think when you're into these defensive battles, you have to play complementary football. The
Mm,
defense has to complement the offense and set the offense up, and then the offense
definitely.
has to capitalize off of the defense setting up these, short yard situations or
Yep.
giving them opportunities. So defense gets a turnover, offense go do something with that, and Baylor just couldn't do that, so they lost. It was a close game, a good game. Big 12 continues to be like, in my opinion, the most exciting conference to watch, just with all these explosive teams just tearing it up.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think that it's super important. Like when your defense makes those like big plays, then if the offense can't even like um have like a field goal off of that, then it's just like yeah, it's you're just done. You're just cooked. Um, but yeah,
All right. One more thing I wanted to get to was Indiana versus Illinois. This was a statement game for Indiana, going in against number nine Illinois, which I felt that Illinois was the underdog going into this. Indiana was ranked 19, so you have a team that's ranked 10 behind you, and then you come in and you blow them out by 53 points. This just shows how terrible the AP poll is and how much the rankings just suck so bad. Uh, Illinois had, I think, like 161 total yards of offense. So that's not a lot. That's pretty terrible. Indiana's defense played lights out. What a game for Mendoza, Indiana's quarterback. He had 267 passing yards, 21 completions, 23 attempts. So that's a 90% completion percentage. Five passing touchdowns, which is just insane, like, especially against a ranked team. Rushing, they had 312 yards, and that wasn't just one guy. It was across, I think, three or four different quarter running backs. So just the depth at the running back position is incredible. Three rushing touchdowns. Like I said, defense played lights out. Illinois just scored just 10 points to Indiana's 63.
All right, am I up? Am I up?
Yep.
Okay, sounds good. So, I'll get to my the biggest game of the day for me in just a moment, but I'm going to go over for college football the two biggest games for me of the day, and then I'll get to my biggest one. First up, Auburn versus Oklahoma. My prediction was Oklahoma takes this one. It was basically around what I thought it was going to be. Oklahoma won by basically like a touchdown over Auburn. However, the big drama of the day is Hugh Freeze, head coach for Auburn, is not happy that they lost the game because he's blaming it on the referees. Basically, the deal was he claimed that last touchdown that Oklahoma got was a fake. In the second quarter, Oklahoma executed what appeared to be a fake substitution, a hideout tactic that left an Auburn receiver wide open for a touchdown. Coach Freeze was furious and sidelined and attempted to call a timeout before the play that was not granted. The touchdown helped Oklahoma secure a 24-17 victory over Auburn, and the missed call contributed to the Tigers' loss and heartbreak. Yada, yada, yada. And so Hugh Freeze had a complete meltdown on the sidelines, and that obviously was taking uh, all of the uh, headlines when it came to that primary game. So Auburn is claiming while they have a 3-1 record right now, they could have had a 4-0, and Oklahoma would have been left with a 3-1. But as of right now, Oklahoma takes the cake on this game. The stats were pretty much the same. Both teams played fairly decent. Uh, Total yards for Auburn was 290. It was 300 for Oklahoma, so only like 10, 12 yards more. Rushing yards was double for Auburn. It was 67 to 32. So and first downs around the same. Oklahoma only fumbled once during the entire game. They threw zero interceptions. Penalties were pretty high in the double digits. So, I mean, it was a pretty even game for both teams, and it was a pretty exciting game, including the crazy yelling from Hugh Freeze on the sidelines at the referees. Florida Miami was the other game for me. Not a surprise, not a shock at all that Florida ended up losing. Florida has really been slacking off in the last few games, and we're going to see how they perform after Texas has their bye next week into October when they play when Texas plays Florida. We're going to see how they do. I think Texas is going to win that game. We'll see how it goes, but I don't know if it'll be a sweep by any means for either team. But Miami definitely stomped Florida today. They are still undefeated, and Carson Beck is clearly showing that he can play well with his new team, even though it hasn't worked out so much with his relationship. But their 4-0 streak is working out pretty well for Carson Beck. Totally stomped Florida with stats today. Carson Beck had 345 total yards to Florida's 140. Carson Beck threw for 160 yards today to Florida's 60. 185 rushing yards to Florida's 80. Like, I mean, they had zero fumbles. Carson Beck did throw one interception today, so that was a shock. They did have six penalties to Florida's three. But I mean, they just in general today, Miami just crushed Florida. So pretty wild stats for them. It was pretty obvious that Miami was going to win this. The spread was 8.5 or over 8.5 for Florida. So not a big shock, not a big surprise there. The big talk of the day, obviously, is Arch Manning. I know we keep coming back to this kid. I feel like everybody doesn't really know
He's
exactly
so
where to land with
bad,
him.
bro. He's
Everyone
so
doesn't really know
bad.
where to land with him. So I feel like, I mean, he plays well, during these, non-SEC games. We're going to see how he does against
Sam
Florida.
Houston.
Go ahead.
No,
Yeah,
He
sorry.
just said
Sam
Sam
Yeah,
Houston.
Houston.
I was saying it was Sam Houston, so it was just it was a cakewalk
Yeah,
for him.
can can we just get to his like staring down the Sam Houston player?
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
people are
can we
grilling him right
not?
now
That's
because they're
so cringe,
saying
bro.
they're saying he's showing his so-called true colors by this. I disagree. I think that he was just after all the frustration in the last several games, I think that he kind of just let it out, as he said. He said his mom was pretty upset with him. But
Yeah, I have
I mean,
the what he
I
said pulled up.
and you know what?
He's
It's not like it was that big of a deal. I did read a comment about how, he needs to calm down because he doesn't really have the right to do that yet. But I mean, it wasn't like that big of a deal. He wasn't like,
man.
he wasn't all up in his face. He just kind of stared at him. I mean, he did get
No,
away from the
he
tackle. So of all the
if
things that
if
he
you
could have done, it wasn't that big of a deal.
if you play the whole clip, he's like in his face and his offensive lineman pull him away.
No. It's because he got up and
Yeah,
the lineman got up and got in his face, and that's how they were in their face. But if you watch the video, he peels away and he walks over
he
to him,
gets
with the
peeled
football
away.
behind, kind of like, "Oh, dude, how'd you?" And then he got up and they had to pull him away, and obviously,
Yeah,
the lead referee had to pull him aside and be like, "Dude, calm down."
you still suck. Yeah, Arch Manning. He said felt good to get back in the end zone. It was probably a little much there. My
Back in the
mom
end
was pretty
zone.
mad about it. Little immature, but I think it was some built up frustration from the past 2 weeks. And
There-
I still don't like it. Like it's Sam Houston. You're at home. You should be beating them, and you're all like acting like this is some big accomplishment. You ran in for what was it, like a
I
15,
agree.
20 yard run? Not
Yeah. You
even.
also
Not
you
even.
also you also have to have like more mental strength, you know? Like especially
Yeah,
if you're gonna be in the pros, like that's gonna like you're gonna have bad games. And like people are like online, social media, like they're gonna like like they're gonna go nuts on you. So like you have to have more mental strength. And yeah, what is he like 20, 21? Like he's still pretty young. So yeah, I mean, but I think he's shown his lack of maturity, I think.
Yeah, and like everyone
yeah.
already low-key hates him right now. So it's like you got to make sure that you're locked in. Like you can't be having incidents on incidents. You can't be a bad player and like an annoying person, you know? So,
Well, that's the thing is that he's not showing that he is like he's been this whole humble character this whole time, and now everybody's saying, "Oh, the minute he has one cool extra play, now all of a sudden, he's showing how he really is." And I disagree with that, but I just think
I
that
don't
that
think he
was the
was.
wrong time to do it, in my opinion.
I don't think he was humble. I think he just sucked. I mean, like he
there's only
didn't have
so
any
like
choice. Yeah, he didn't have
boastful
any
you can
choice
be.
but to be humble because he sucked. And I think that this just it wasn't classy when you're beating 0-3 team at
Now 0
home
4.
who isn't now 0-4. And it's like you're ranked number 8 in the country. Act like you've been there before. Act like this isn't your first rushing touchdown or whatever. Act like you've scored points before. And you don't see Julian saying all like up in the face of, "Oh, I beat Grambling State. I ran in for, against Grambling State," or whatever. It's just not classy.
Yeah. So interesting plays from Arch Manning. He obviously played well, but again, everybody's going to say it was from St. Houston. Total yards for him today was 610. Passing yards are 345, rushing 265, and zero fumbles, zero interceptions. Still pretty high in the penalties. They got 9, so almost in the double digits. Texas really needs to hold up because they do lose a lot of yardage to penalties, and they lost a bunch to Ohio State, which, to be honest with you, I think contributed highly to their loss against Ohio State in the very first game. So I still think they would have lost, but it would have been a much closer game than it already was. So, but that wraps up my top three for college. Obviously, Texas Sam Houston was the big one for me today. Arch Manning is clearly, I mean, people don't really know where to land on Arch
The
Manning because
worst.
they're kind of all the way back and forth where they say, oh, he's terrible, now he's the best, now he's terrible, now he's the best. People just need to see how he plays in a consistent SEC league, and we're about to see that. They're going to have one bye, and then they go on the road to Florida, so we'll see how he does on the road. I still think they're going to beat Florida, but we'll find out. He's going to be back in the pressure of an off-road game, so we'll find out. But there's my top three.
Yeah, I wasn't. I was never rooting on Arch's downfall. I felt bad for him playing so badly, and then he wants to go and do something like that. I am now rooting on Arch's downfall. I hope he sucks.
Okay, well, we'll find out how it goes. I
Dang,
mean,
bro.
hey, oh, by the way, Chris, are we going to talk about UVA stomping Stanford yesterday?
Oh,
Stomping.
please. That was such a good game.
It's a
I
glorious
think that
moment.
I
it was like,
You would give us the
Give us the
play-by-play. How
goods.
did that go?
well, our quarterback Chandler Morris has so much like, oh my gosh, bro has like
Oro.
maximum like aura swag. Like he is so tough, bro. Um, he had in the first quarter he had like 3 touchdown passes and like 6 completions for like or 7 completions for like 250 yards like in the first quarter, and like they're all to this one guy, number 11. I don't remember his name, but dude, it was such a good game. And then this coming Friday, we're playing Florida State, who's 7th in the nation, and it's only a 7.5 point spread against us. So I don't know.
You guys got the upset, 100%.
Yeah, dude. I don't, dude. If that happens, Natty, here we come.
If that happens, I will go to UVA.
Let's go. Let's go. Pull up. Um. All right. Moving on to pro football to NFL. We had a pretty crazy Sunday so far. And we have a big
Wild
game going
day.
on. Yeah, dude.
Just
Like
wild.
there were so many crazy finishes. I think so. At one point, it was the Buccaneers and the Jets. They had a final field goal that was happening at the exact same time as the, or no, maybe it was the Rams and the Eagles. But one of the games was like ending right as the Steelers Browns game, or no, not the Steelers Browns game. The Browns Packers game was also ending. So it was like it was such crazy how that lined up. But my top 3 games are first Rams Eagles. So I came into this game thinking that the Rams could pull this one off, and they almost did. I think through like the first half they were up by like at least 2 scores, and Hurts in the first half only had like 17 passing yards, and Saquon Barkley also um didn't do very good either. Do I have bad
Yeah, I
audio?
think no.
No, we got you.
Okay. No, Evelyn just went. "Ah." Yeah, I think the Rams definitely could have done this. It was the what was it, the fourth and goal that the Eagles made. I think that would just
Yeah,
sealed it. But
yeah,
the
I
Rams
agree.
definitely had a shot.
But
So
It
also
I
was by
the
like
Rams, like the Rams played pretty well, but Stafford did have, I think it was 2 interceptions, which that's just that's just
in pros,
especially
that's rough. Two is
versus,
really
yeah,
big.
yeah.
Philadelphia, like that's just not going to cut it. Or
Yeah.
actually, he had 1 pick, but still, one's worse
Yeah.
than none, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
will admit, I was
It's
I
not rocket
was
science.
very surprised that the Rams were able to pull off you know, being ahead in the first half and then keeping up the pressure in the second half and just again that, fourth quarter or that fourth down
Fourth and
rush at the
goal.
end for the Eagles
Yeah,
really helped them out there. But, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, again, the Eagles are still undefeated and they'll eventually lose probably when they go up against
they're so are the Bucks.
you know,
They're also undefeated.
yeah,
Um,
so we'll have to see. So it was not really an upset for me, but I think an upset for a lot more people who thought the Rams might be able to pull that one off.
Also, Saquon Barkley, he averaged 2.5 yards per carry. And I know people are saying, "Oh, like they're just gonna save him," but he had he had 46 yards on 18 carries. That's not
Dang.
very good. Like
Yeah.
that's not good.
Are we gonna
Saquon,
flag on the
He had
hype for
8
Saquon
fantasy points.
Barkley?
What'd you say?
Are we gonna flag on the hype for Saquon Barkley?
I think so. I think he's low key washed.
All right.
Saquon is the guy that everyone was saying was an alien that came down from last year and
What?
started playing for Philadelphia, and
An
Like he
now
hopped the
he's
alien?
Are you
border or like
averaging
serious?
two and a half rushing
An
yards per
alien?
carry.
Bro, what?
But yeah, I think flag on the hype, Saquon Barkley, personal foul.
Yeah,
He's not
he's
that great.
cooked.
I think he had a good season, but one good
I mean,
season doesn't mean he's a great player.
also
It's not
like
how high your ceiling is, it's how low your floor is.
Okay,
And
stop quoting
preach.
All right,
yourself.
Saquon
enough with the
Barkley's
quotes,
floor
Justin.
is
All
kind
right,
of
move
low.
on. What were your top
Well,
three
well,
other
so
than
Hurts averaged 4.4 yards per carry. So like I don't know. Step up that with
Put
Saquon
Hurts
there.
in as running back.
It's also important, yeah, for sure. It's also important to note Philadelphia had one of their, I think it was Lane, I forget his last name, but one of their best tackles out, because he
He
was
was
injured. So
lame. That's kind of rude.
no, bro, Lane. All right. So yeah,
Yeah, Lane
that game,
Johnson, right?
yes, Lane Johnson.
Yeah,
Lane
yeah.
Kiffin?
Name Johnson. All
Yeah,
right, moving on,
Lane
moving
Johnson.
on.
But yeah, so that game ended in a crazy fashion. It was 27-26. The Rams were lining up for a 40 to 50 yard field goal, and then the Eagles took it back for a touchdown, and that's why it's 33-26. So very crazy game. The Rams put up a very good fight. I think they might go far this year. Um, all right, so we have Jets and the Bucks. Now this game was I
Unbelievable.
yeah, like I didn't expect it to be this close at all
Boy,
because
Tyree Taylor
Fields was
came
out.
out of the woodwork.
Tyrod Taylor, yeah, yeah.
Whatever, same thing.
Tyre-
Yeah, dude.
Dude,
He was
If
yeah,
the
wait.
Jets had gotten one more field goal, they would have beat one of the better teams of the I don't want to say they're the best, but one of the better teams of the NFL right now,
They are
who's now
they are
undefeated.
very good. Yeah, the
Like that's
Bucks the Bucks
wild.
played great. No, yeah. So I think so it looks like Taylor threw for 26 out of 36, almost 200 yards, two touchdowns, one pick.
dang.
Ran for almost 50 yards. So that's kind of crazy, also. Um, and yeah, I think that was a very encouraging game. If I were a Jets fan, but they are winless this year so far, so that also is bad.
And that's with
Yeah,
their primary. So today they had their backup. They played better than they had in the first two games.
I mean, it was
Yeah,
Tyrod
it's
Taylor,
just strange.
right?
Yeah, it's Tyrod
yeah,
Taylor, bro.
Tyrod
He's
And by the
Taylor,
way,
veteran
who was
presence.
who was the
Yeah.
one who was saying that, the backup might actually, have some secrets that nobody knows about?
I
Was
I
that
don't
you or
think
was that
That
I
was
don't
me. I
think
was the one who
Tyrod
was saying that Tyrod
good
Taylor might
job?
end up coming out
I don't
and
think
Wow,
having
you're
Tyrod
more
so
than we give
Taylor
him
cool.
credit for.
knows.
Wow, good at
I don't
prediction,
think
Pepperoni.
I don't think he knows any secrets at all,
No, I mean,
except how
during
to lose.
the podcast, we were like, oh, someone just endorsed him, right? So it's like,
Yeah,
we didn't know what was going to happen. No one's seen Tyrod Taylor since like 2015 doing
Yeah,
something.
bro. He
got
But
him.
is
I mean, he
so
locked
cheap.
in. He locked in.
He
Yeah,
did,
I
but
think
not enough.
No,
yeah,
but I
the
mean, they
Jets
haven't won anything, so
That's
how
true.
much
the
can
Jets
you?
have been close in a lot of their games. What was it? They won by the Steelers beat them by like a field goal or something, and then
Yeah, it has, but last week they got blown out. Um,
Oh,
Fields had like 20 yards passing.
Tyrod Taylor was
Um,
not his fault.
Tyrod Taylor
all
was on the
right.
bench. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the Buccaneers advanced to 3-0. Baker Mayfield had a very good game. They had their awesome orange uniforms on. Those look so good. Um,
Okay, Buick.
um, not what I meant, guys. Um, all right. Bucky
Was
Irving
it Mecca
had
Ibuka playing or
yes, dude,
Yeah, that
dude.
random.
I thought he was injured, bro.
Oh, he was questionable, but he played. And
What a
I think
beast.
I think it was in like the second quarter. He had this like crazy one-handed catch off of the sideline. It was just beautiful. Um, Bucky Irving averaged 2.6 yards per carry. He had 25 carries for 66 yards. Mayfield also ran for 44 yards. Mike Evans only had 33 yards. So
Out of 8 targets, he only caught 4.
Yeah,
How many of those
yeah,
were
that's what
like
he's
his
talking about.
fault, and how
Yeah,
many of it was just like,
we got to clarify our grammar
I
here.
Like how
I
many were
don't
like
know.
20 feet away from him?
I don't think none since Baker's a dog, but I don't know. Um,
Baker, I've been noticing he has like
Baker a
he'll throw
dog.
like 30 passes in a game, and I don't know like what's up with that.
I don't
I
know.
feel like they're leaning
Um,
too much on him.
I don't know. I mean, 30 is not bad. Like Bryce Young last week threw like 56 pass attempts. Dude, all right. But moving on, my this was hard for me to pick, but my last game was Washington versus Vegas, which obviously is my favorite team, Washington Commanders. Left hand up, who are we the Commanders?
Commanders. You mean?
Yeah,
I won't say
left
it. I
hand
won't
up.
say it.
I know what you mean. So Marcus Mariota obviously playing in for Jaden Daniels. He played very admirably. He went 15 for 21 with about over 200 yards, one touchdown. He also ran for 40 yards and a touchdown. So the Commanders looked very good, and I think partially it. So I, I'm not quite saying Mariota made us better, but last year there were times when the offense wasn't doing well, and then Mariota kind of like helped us like stay like kind of like stay stable. So I think Mariota is more of a help than we may think he is. Um, McNichols also had a nice 60-yard touchdown. He had 4 carries for 78 yards. And overall, we had a very good game. McLaurin popped off for 74 yards. Matt Gay missed a field goal, but he also made a 56 yarder. So that was awesome. Um, and yeah, very nice game for us Commanders fans. Now for the Raiders, I thought they played pretty good, except for Ashton Genty. I mean, he had 17 carries for 63 yards, which is not it's not great, but he did have a 20-yard run, which is I think his longest so far. So he definitely showed flashes, but
Yeah.
he had 3.7 yards per carry, not great. But
He-
Smith threw for almost 290 yards and also 3 touchdowns. So a very good game from him.
yeah, I don't know what it was, but he just looks bored and just like sad. Like he doesn't want to run the ball, and he gets it, and he just the physicality and the drive just isn't there. I don't know what it is. I
What's
thought
his
Washington played
contract right
great.
now? How much is his contract worth right now?
You need free my
It's
boy, whatever it
yeah,
is.
it's a lot. Smith is like 3 years, maybe 100 million, 90 million, not positive, but it's in that range.
Free him, free my boy. Yeah,
Um,
but
but,
I thought
but I
Washington
thought,
played great.
yeah, dude, I agree. Washington had like 5 sacks, and they definitely
Oh my
put
gosh.
good, good pressure on Smith. Washington also had some bad special teams. Or they had no, actually, that's very incorrect. We had a punt return for a touchdown, and then the opening kickoff was like a 60-yard run back for, from I think it was Debo Samuel. So very good game from there. And then I would say one more game that I wanted to touch on briefly was the Falcons Panthers because Washington plays the Falcons next week, and I selfishly want to talk about how bad the Falcons are. Um, they lost 32-0 to the Carolina Panthers. That's all I have to say on that game.
All right, can I go up
Uh,
next really quick?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. So my three, I'm gonna run over Justin Herbert versus the Broncos. The fact that Denver was able to uh sneak up almost a win against Justin Herbert and company, that is just shocking. I mean, the Broncos have one win, but they're still 1 for 2. Chargers are still undefeated. So like, and the Chargers outplayed the Broncos in almost every area today except for rushing yards. Denver had 120 rushing yards, and I'm rounding up or rounding down here, but Denver had 120 rushing yards. The Chargers only had 105. Like, okay, it was still in the triple digits, but like the fact that the Broncos were able to overdo the Chargers when it comes to rushing yards is pretty wild. But I mean, Justin Herbert had twice as many passing yards than Denver did. He had 270 to Denver's 145. They total yards today was 375 for the Chargers. Except Bro- Denver didn't fumble anything today. They threw zero interceptions. Justin Herbert threw one interception and had one fumble today. So like, to be honest with you, the Chargers didn't play all that hot today, and they almost lost to a pretty rough team, I'll say. So pretty interesting game. Curious to see where it goes. I think the Chargers are still going to do well. I still am maintaining that the Chargers are going to win the Super Bowl this year. We'll still find out, but that's I'm still maintaining that. Other game for me is the Niners versus the Cardinals. Pretty shocking game. The fact that the Niners barely squeezed out that game against the Cardinals. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, my pick for that game was Arizona to win, and San Francisco came out by 1 point. Not exactly sure how that happened, but it did. The game was basically even. San Francisco had more passing yards, but they had less rushing yards. Total yards was 355 for San Francisco, 260 for Arizona. Um, uh, Arizona had zero fumbles, zero interceptions today, so they played a pretty solid game. Just couldn't squeeze it out. And you always see less points scored in the NFL because as opposed to college, just because defense is way better, way more superior. And I would argue that defense is generally better than the offense, just in general, because it's really hard to find unique talent for the QBs, for the cornerbacks and for the receivers. But when it comes to defense, all you need is a bunch of huge, strong guys and who can, protect their quarterback. And it's really hard to get anything further down there. So, uh, pretty interesting stuff there. And then my third game, probably the biggest shock of the day for me, maybe aside from the fact that the Jets played half decent today, or that the Commanders actually squeezed out a win over the Raiders. The other shock today is that the Bears beat up on the Cowboys. I mean, they just whooped up on the Cowboys. Like
Yeah.
that's shocking to me.
that was crazy.
I mean, I will admit Dallas is not as good as I thought they were. I mean, I know that they sucked in their first two games, but I thought they'll at least be able to beat the Bears. But now the Bears have one win to their name so far in the season. They're 1-2, and they're tied with the Cowboys for stats right now with that. So that's with wins to losses. So that's pretty crazy. It was basically even today. In regard to the stats, I mean, the Bears had 385 total yards to 395 for the Cowboys, so just 10 less yards. Um, they had more passing yards by 15 or 20. The biggest thing for the Cowboys, they had, about 40 more rushing yards than the Bears did. Had about 120 to the Bears 90, 85. And Dallas threw three interceptions today and got one fumble. The Bears had none. And I mean, the Bears just stomped on them. They
Prescott is
31-14. Like that is
washed.
wild for Dallas to lose to the Bears. I mean, whoever hears about the Bears, I will say it and I say it again. Whoever hears about the Bears playing well, but I mean, they either played very well or Dallas played really bad. And I think it was both of them, which contributed to a huge loss
Yeah.
for Dallas. So super sad to see them go down. I have family in Dallas, so it's I feel bad for them. But it is what it
I
is.
don't.
Uh, you know.
Jerry
I
Jones
don't
deserves
either.
what he gets.
Yeah.
I thought
No, no, I agree. Yeah, I thought Williams played very well, especially after his bad games past couple weeks. I think he threw for 4 touchdowns and no picks, I believe. So very good game from him. Very very if I was a Bears fan, I'd be very encouraged. Um, so yeah. But do we have any last notes from you guys about this week and about anything or I think right now we have the Chiefs versus the Giants. Last I checked, Chiefs are up 16-6, and they still are. So they're probably gonna pull it out. But we'll
Yeah,
see.
Patrick Mahomes needs to quit fumbling the ball. Just
Oh,
saying.
he
yeah.
is. I don't know what happened to him, but
Bro, I mean,
we'll
I
discuss this
thought it was
game
just
more
like an
next
expanding
time. But
hype, saying that he
yeah,
was like better than Tom Brady in his first 4 years. I said that was hype from the very beginning. Everybody said I was
Mhm.
crazy. Turning out that's not so crazy. So, you ever see Tom Brady fumble the ball? Nope.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you can look up Tom Brady fumbling ball and
Well,
it'll
yeah,
come up.
but not like Patrick Mahomes is tonight
but
against
not
Russell
humble.
Wilson.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Um,
can Tom Brady recover his fumble like Patrick Mahomes can?
oh,
That's the
definitely
question.
not. No, Mahomes is like
Best at recovering his own fumble.
the best one
Also,
ever.
the fact, I mean, it wasn't really with the Giants' fault, but the fact that Chiefs blocked an extra point, that's pretty wild. Like, you never see that anymore.
That's just
Yeah,
annoying. Like,
That's like the Seahawks
what a
defender
try
jumping
hard.
over the line to
let's
block
try hard.
the ball. Like,
Like, just let us
what is
get the
this? The
one
fifth
point. What are
grade?
we doing?
Um,
But no, that's it for me. I'm done.
yeah,
Yeah.
one more note. Tomorrow we have Lions Ravens. That's going to be a very good game. So we'll probably break that down on our next show next week. Yeah,
I'm going Lions. I'm gonna do the upset.
I don't know.
I think the Ravens
We'll
are going
find
to get
out.
it.
We'll find out. For next time, stay tuned.
Yeah.
Hit that like and subscribe button.
Yeah, but everyone, thanks for listening, guys. Really appreciate it. Share us with your friends. You can give us a follow on your specific podcast platform. We're on Spotify, Apple, and also Amazon, I believe. So just look us up on there, and yeah, hope you guys had a very good weekend, and see you guys next week.
Adios. Bye, everybody.
Peace out.